Singer makes a very, we happen to think about them, our moral feelings or our moral opinions. Are there real, true moral facts that govern our behavior? That's the third and final unit of this course, which in the semester comes in the, last few weeks of the semester, but in this case comes in like 4 minutes from now. But before that, let's talk about what is almost definitely the most famous paper in applied ethics that has ever been written. It's by Peter Singer, and it was published in 1972. Peter Singer looks like this. I once got to have dinner with him after an academic talk. The paper is called Famine, Affluence, and Morality.
All right, let me try to remember this. Okay. Peter Singer's Famine and Affluence essentially says that people who donate to charity, people who do not donate to charity don't feel guilt, and people who do donate to charity also, or it's not that. It's like, how do I say? Like, it essentially said, okay, so Peter Singer's Famine and Affluence essentially says, right, we should feel bad for not donating to charity. Essentially, it talks about how there are organizations in which you can easily donate your money to that can go to like literally save lives of people who are like going hungry, right? And Peter Singer says there's no reason we should not be feeling guilty for not donating whatever we can to said organization. Obviously, Singer doesn't say that we should donate like all our money to where we become hungry, but more so like if you get a coffee and from Starbucks, you don't have to get coffee from Starbucks. You could probably make it at home for cheaper. You're wasting that extra money that could be used to save someone's life. And while people say, well, not donating to charity, I don't have to feel guilty about that, because one of the main arguments is proximity. And the thing about proximity, right, it says, well, they're not right in front of me. Obviously, if there was someone who was starving in front of me, I would give them food, right? And this is actually an interesting one. And even though, a pretty easy argument would say when you see a homeless person, you don't help them to most people don't even give a homeless person money. But Singer talks about how the situation where you see a drowning child in a shallow pond, right? So if you walk past a shallow pond and you see a child, you're gonna go in and save the child, right? You see it and you're close enough to where you can help. So one of the main arguments, again, just to reiterate, one of the main arguments from people about not feeling guilty about not donating to charity is that the child is right in front of you. Okay, wait, hold on. Or the child is like right in front of you compared to, somewhere far away, right? However, saving a child in a shallow pond and donating is the exact same thing, While the person who is not going hungry is not in front of you, that doesn't exactly justify not donating to the person. And then Singer asks, the methods we use to where we can donate are very easy, and you can probably do it in less than a minute, just as you can save the child in less than a minute. So does proximity really matter when saving a life. And then it's like, oh, well, I guess you're right. And then another argument, which is more, I feel like, more kind of, oh, shoot, Singer's right, is when Singer talks about, what's it called? Is when Singer talks about, hold on. Is that a crack? And is when Singer talks about, other people, because another argument people will make is, oh, well, there's other people who could donate. Why don't they donate? Or why do I have to be the one? And Singer says, if you see a child drowning in a shallow pond, if there's people around you and you say, there's other people who could save the child, I'm not going to save the child. That looks crazy, right? If someone tells you, oh yeah, I didn't save that child from the shallow pond because there was other people around. Bro, what? So that removes, so just because there's other people who can do it doesn't mean you shouldn't save the child. So why shouldn't you donate? Even if other people could do it too, right? If you're going to save the child when there's other people around, then you should be able to donate even if other people do or do not donate. So I think
in this paper, Singer makes a very radical claim. Everyone that you've ever met is a morally bad person. The circumstance that we find ourselves in today, in our
it is crazy because nobody can even really
societies,
refute
is
that.
such that
It's true.
we're morally obliged to give the money that we would otherwise spend on luxuries like clothes that we don't really need, or food from a restaurant that we don't really need because we could cook the food at home. We need to spend that extra luxury money giving it away to people who need that money in order to survive. He's talking about giving money to organizations like Oxfam or UNICEF. These are organizations that very efficiently take your money and transport it across the world and use it to literally save people's lives. People who very well might die of famine. Famine, there's not enough food. They would die of famine within the next few days or weeks. But instead, they get to live. Singer writes, because giving money is regarded as an act of charity, it is not thought that there is anything wrong with not giving. The charitable man may be praised, but the man who is not charitable is not condemned. People do not feel in any way ashamed or guilty about spending money on new clothes or a new car instead of giving it to famine relief. Indeed, the alternative does not occur to them. This way of looking at the matter cannot be justified. He thinks that it's not okay to buy coffee at a coffee shop, because buying coffee at a coffee shop is a luxury. You could make that coffee at home. He thinks that that extra money must be given to famine relief because these famines are going on, and if you don't give to famine relief, you're doing something evil every day. Okay, that's like a kind of radical moral claim. What is his argument for that? Part of his argument comes from a famous shallow pond example. If I am walking past a shallow pond and see a child drowning in it, I ought to wade in and pull the child out. This will mean getting my clothes muddy, but this is insignificant, while the death of the child would presumably be a very bad thing. If someone came to your house and said, hey, on my way here, I saw this little